All right, guys, today's video is soil improvements for section 4. I am out here today in some very nice weather. Sun is fixing to set, and I'm out here improving my soil conditions. I'm not throwing fertilizer out. I'm not watering anything. I am simply removing problem rocks. These guys cost me tonnage and cause my tiller to get beat up, and it really struggles. So I'm trying to save my tiller's longevity and hopefully increase my soil's output. There's so many rocks out here that if I simply was able to remove all of them about 8 inches deep and it was nothing but pure soil in here, the growth rates would probably double or more just because the rocks are gone. This area is just notoriously bad for ridge rock. If you've seen some of my other videos or other video on soil improvements, I gave you a history of the place and how that used to be cornfields a long time ago, and they gave up because it was just so bad with rocks. So if you want to review that one, you can. I'm not going to spend a lot of time on that video, but my goal is to come out here and work an hour to 2 hours a day while the weather is still cooperating. And the big thing here is doing it while the food plot is short. This is the time of year in February where a sudden burst of growth can happen out here. And if that is the case, then a lot of these rocks would disappear, and I'm not going to take the time to dig around and uncover those things. So the timing for me is now, and I will be spending the rest of this week adding to that pile or creating additional rock piles. So this area really needs some help, and there's really a big point of focus here. I mean, you can see all these rocks sticking up. This is not good. So the more of this larger stuff I can remove, the easier it is for plant roots to push the small rocks apart and get to what they need to. These big rocks, it's going to take a lot more energy to accomplish that. So at least as long as I can reduce the size of the rocks per average in this area, that means my roots have a much better shot at getting deeper. And of course, what would make me happy is my tiller will last longer than what it is right now, because I have a feeling this might be the year that it goes kapunk. But the other area that I want to focus heavily on is right up here. And even in the camera, I can already tell you there's a big difference between that dip and that rise right there. See that green line that runs across right here? That's where the ridge rocks get really thick and heavy. And of course there's rocks in the middle here, but it's not quite as bad as some of the other areas that I've dealt with, mainly because years ago I had picked this place and put somewhat of a dent in them. But up here, totally different story. You can see we have all kinds of problems. And in case you're wondering what these big divots are, that is not rocks that I've taken out. That is my neighbor's cattle who broke loose for the second time, came in here and devastated a lot of my greenery. They literally scalped it down. This was taller than what you see now. They trampled down a lot of the soybean down there in section 3. And then they went right by the camera post and nearly took the post out of the ground. I had to fix this post. They ripped the camera off right there, and you can see the tracks going right up to it. The other post over here, if that cow had been another 6 or 7 inches closer, it probably would have knocked the post over too. And I've got those buried about 18 inches deep, but you can see where they come through here. and come right up to the camera and ripped it completely off. There's the remaining stud that it's screwed into. So I'm not going to cause a problem, but if they do get out again, I think I'm just going to have to step in and say something to him, because I can't afford, especially with my summer seeds that's just now showing up, I cannot afford to replace that. The amount of work that I spend out here and the time and the care I put into this, I don't want to lose this because of carelessness. So if it does happen a third time, I definitely will have to solve the problem. And of course, for those of you that live out in rural areas, I'm sure you've probably dealt with this before, but cattle can be a terrible issue. And I haven't had cattle break loose from anybody in more than 25 years. And then suddenly it's just one after another. So somebody's got to fix a fence somewhere. But anyway, enough of that ranting. With these rocks out of the way, I'm definitely increasing root space. I mean, that alone would make me happy. So by the time Saturday rolls around, or Sunday, more likely Sunday depending on weather conditions, I'm going to bring the tractor out here, fill up the bucket a few times, and then haul this stuff off, and be happy knowing that the bigger rocks are being removed. You can see one of the cows left a deposit saying thank you, and I actually don't mind having a little bit of that here. That spot ought to grow extra green. All right, guys, so again, if you're rock picking, I try to pick and choose times when the food plot is at certain stages. Of course, when you first turn the ground up, feel free to remove what you want. And then as the rain settles the dirt, for those of you that till, it's going to expose a lot more rocks. And that's what's happened here. So now I'm in phase 2 and removing those rocks, or at least as many of them as I can, and that will increase this soil's output for my spring and summer crops. All right, guys, if you like this content, hit that like and subscribe button. More videos are on the way, and hopefully a fantastic spring and summer plot will be around the corner. You all have a great day.